BC assessed values versus market values. Why is there such a huge difference a lot of the times? BC assessed values are done at a specific point in time based off of computer applications of statistical algorithms based off of a bunch of different data points that they're looking at online. Market value is what a buyer is willing to pay for your property at any given period in time. And when they're looking at these algorithms and computer data, they're not understanding your specific neighborhood to the same degree. Examples about how I've seen huge differences would be one, they might look at a bunch of active solds or sold and active data based off of square footage and improvements and year built without understanding that the improvements can differ quite a bit. Think about fundamental changes that might not necessarily require a building permit always. So somebody replaces a $25,000 roof or does other improvements to the property. They're probably not going to call the city and tell them, hey, increase my assessment because I've improved the improvements on my land. Other examples, it might look at lot size and what things are selling for in a certain area, and then ascribe a certain assessed value to a less desirable plot of land if on paper it has the same lot size, even though the lot dimensions and usability of that land can differ drastically. So you might have properties that have certain setbacks, whether it's on a main road or whether it's on an inside road, that can affect its development value, building value, actual use to a realistic buyer. And it'll just say, hey, these are 3 properties in an area that are 10,000 square feet and have a 1960s house sold for 1.2 million, and this 4th one can get a similar value ascribed when realistically those lot dimensions can differ quite a bit. There's examples that I've seen where there's hundreds of thousands of dollars of difference between what it's actually selling for and what it's worth versus what it's assessed at. Other examples for stratas could be the view that a building has, whether it's facing Stanley Park or whether it's facing another building. Those 2 units to a real practical buyer are going to drastically affect the market value, but they might not necessarily be reflected in the BC assessed values. Same goes with stratas. Strata perks. So like if you have an additional parking stall or storage lockers, those might not be reflected in BC assessed values, but a parking stall could be $40,000 to $60,000 downtown, which can affect how much a buyer's willing to pay for a unit. Other examples that I've seen with acreages in terms of ravines and creeks going through it. Basically all of this to say BC assessed values are a lagging indicator based off of computer algorithms and data, and market value is what somebody's willing to pay for your property at any given period of time. To get an accurate representation of market value, there's different appraisal methods that real estate professionals use, as well as certified appraisers, and you're better off getting opinions from them and then kind of getting them to walk you through the logic about how they came to that conclusion, and then also keeping an eye out in terms of what it's selling for, and then using your brain a little bit too, based off of your own experience in your neighborhood, if real estate is something that you pay attention to. And regardless, it's always great to get a second opinion from a real estate professional who's well versed in a specific area if you're not particularly tuned in to all the things going on pertaining to market value in your neighborhood. And if you would like information regarding what things are worth in your area, or have further questions about any property that you're looking at, you can reach me through the site and my number down below. But hopefully this helped give you more clarity on differences between BC assessed values as well as market values at a different point in time. I could continue to ramble on as this is a pretty interesting topic, but I think that should be a pretty good simple kind of breakdown. Anyways, thanks for listening.